afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session. I hope you are enjoying Data and AI Summit so far, and thanks for staying through and joining us for this session. Cool. So my name is Tao. I'm the engineering director for sharing, collaboration, and partner ecosystem at Databricks. I'm here with my colleague, William.
Hi, I'm William, staff software engineer working on data sharing and clean rooms.
So in this morning's keynote, you heard from Mate that we're announcing public preview for Clean Room. So today, William and I will just show you how to get started with Databricks Clean Room. So yes, this is the slide you see in every session so far. We have that too. So if you are collaborating on data or considering to do so, you might have already run into the dilemma that on one hand, you want to get collaborate with your partners and get the insights and improve your products or your operation. But on the other hand, you're concerned about the compliance challenges and the privacy breach risks. So what do you do? By now, you should know the solution, that is clean rooms. Yes, clean rooms. But what makes a clean rooms? In my expectation, a clean room should be, firstly, privacy safe for the raw inputs data. So no parties can directly access the raw inputs. It also enforces that only approved use case can be run on the shared data, not any things. Also, the compute environment is isolated from any of the collaborators, so to prevent any unintended exfiltration. And finally, clean room needs to be capable to allow you to do all the advanced computations you need to really get the outcome you are looking for from collaborations, no compromise. And there are clean room use cases across industries. Here is a quick glance of the examples in advertising and retail, finance, and health and life sciences. And you might have more in your mind for your organization. Today, there are other clean room solutions out there already. But based on the expectations for clean rooms we just talked about, I can say here are some limitations of the existing solutions. So most of them are limited to SQL queries, and they have limited or no machine learning support. And they are often limited to collaboration on the same cloud or same platform. And they often hard to scale. But on Databricks Clean Rooms, it is designed to address those limitations from ground up. It supports arbitrary compute with SQL, Python, and more languages across analytics and AI workloads. It supports cross-cloud and cross-platform collaborations. And it is built to handle complex integrated workload at scale. To address those limitations and build a future-proofing platform was why we built Databricks Clean Rooms and why you should consider Databricks Clean Rooms. Databricks Clean Rooms are privacy-safe environments for multiple organizations to run computations on joined data. To illustrate with the most common use case, consider the collaboration between the advertiser and the publisher. Both parties have some sensitive data about their users that they cannot share as is. And Databricks Clean Rooms allow them to share the data in a privacy-safe environment and generate key insights jointly. And Mate just announced the public preview in Keynote today with our two biggest differentiators. One, the flexibilities for arbitrary data and AI tasks. Two, the interoperabilities across cloud and platforms. Let me walk you through the Databricks Clean Rooms features in more depth. First, you can start your clean rooms on any cloud or region, regardless of where your own region is. The clean rooms are built on Databricks serverless computer infrastructure and isolated with new Databricks managed accounts, so to guarantee no unauthorized access or information exfiltration. Leveraging data sharing, you can share all types of data and AI assets into Databricks Clean Rooms for collaboration, from tables, views, to non-tabular data in volumes and AI models. You can also share your code in notebooks or private libraries. And leveraging the full power of notebooks and libraries, you can run arbitrary compute in clean rooms. You can run SQL queries for cross-joins and analytics. You can use Python for machine learning and AI workloads. And we already talked about the private libraries that you can use that to protect your IP-sensitive code. And you can use notebook parameters to run different scenarios without changing the main code. And most excitingly, with data sharing for Lakehouse Federation, you can bring in live data across platforms into Databricks Clean Rooms for collaboration. Databricks Clean Rooms truly enable you to meet wherever your collaborators' data are without moving or copying the data. And Databricks Clean Rooms are operation ready. You can operate through UI. You have seen like demos for that, and you're gonna see more demos on the UI operation for it. And you can also automate your privacy-safe workload using SQL commands or Databricks built-in workflow orchestration. After you run your privacy-safe workload, Databricks Clean Rooms gives you the flexibility to get outputs in either directly from your notebooks. You can see the output tables or the visualization, or you can specify an output in your home Unity catalog that clean room output will be data shared back into your So you can really use those clean room outputs in your subsequent workloads and truly get the value out of your clean rooms in an integrated way. Databricks Clean Rooms also enables you to keep track and manage your clean room activities with implicit and explicit approvals of the use cases and code to be run, and the detailed activity logs, and even billing meters if you need to have a bill back for your collaborators. To summarize, Databricks Clean Rooms are privacy-safe environments for you to do collaboration across cloud, across platforms, on any language and workloads of your choice. With that, I will invite William back on stage to show you some demo.
Hello, everyone. So I will present two demos. The first demo is going to be an audience overlap analysis, and the second demo is going to involve ML model training. So let's say we want to run some analysis over data. In this case, we're running an audience overlap analysis that we do not have access to, that's shared by a different organization. So this is very similar to the demo already presented earlier in the keynote session. But we're going to go more in depth about the details here. And before I start the demo, I also want to show how you can use a LiveRamp for identity resolution within Databricks. So this can be a preparatory step before sharing the data into the clean room. Okay, so here you can go to Marketplace, and you can search for LiveRamp. And in this case here, you can see here it's a solution accelerator with a notebook. And yeah, once you have this, you can just visualize, you can just output the table and have a version of this. So let's see here. Okay. All right, so now let's actually go into the actual demo. So let's say, so we're going to create a clean room that involves a retailer and a supplier. So the collaborators don't necessarily have to be in the same cloud or the same region. And the clean room itself can actually be in a different cloud or region as well. So in this case, both collaborators are on AWS, and we are going to create a clean room in Azure. But any combination will work here. And then we're going to retrieve the sharing identifier of the other collaborators. So in this case, we're going to have the supplier give us the sharing identifier, and then we can paste it here, and that's how we add the collaborator. So now let's create the clean room. So one thing to know is that when we create a clean room, we actually create a completely isolated environment. We have a new account, we have a new metastore, and a new workspace. And all of that is managed and hosted by Databricks. So no users can access this isolated environment. So now, let's add a few datasets. So in this case, we're going to add the audience graph and the private library. So as mentioned before, right, we can perform analysis using private libraries if you want to have you want your IP to be protected. You don't want to expose the underlying code to others. And since we're doing audience overlap analysis, we are sharing the audience graph dataset over. So these are using, this is using delta sharing to share into the isolated metastore environment. So now let's add a notebook. We're going to use the audience segments notebook, same as the keynote. Let's take a look, preview, and take a peek at it. So yeah, we're going to add a notebook. All right, and essentially we are done on the retailer side. So now we can jump over to the other collaborator, the supplier side. Okay, so let's quickly refresh the page, and the clean room is here. All right, so now we're on the other side. So when a table or a data is being shared to the clean room, we're not actually sharing with other collaborators directly. So in this case, if the supplier clicks on the table here, all they can see here is just metadata. So only column information, the table schema. So they cannot access any sample data. They cannot access any raw information there. Okay, so now let's go back here, and we're going to add our own data set. So we are going to add customer loyalty table. So this here is a Snowflake table. So we support query federation. So not only can we bring in Snowflake tables, we can also bring in tables from other sources, such as Redshift, MySQL, BigQuery. Okay, so now that everything is added, let's go into the notebook, and we can once again take a look and preview the notebook. And one thing I want to add here is that when there are two collaborators, right, the person or organization sharing the notebook cannot run the notebook. Only the other collaborator can run the notebook. So in this case, the retailer's adding the notebook to the clean room, and only the supplier can run the notebook. Okay, and then also something to note here is that the notebook will be run inside the isolated workspace, right? So no cluster is needed from any of the collaborator side. We're not using any of the collaborators' compute at all. So we can also pass in notebook parameters and to run similar to how you pass notebook parameters into normal notebooks. So once we confirm everything looks good, we can run it. So when we run it, it will initiate a job task run, a workflow task run. And when we see here, we get a preview real soon. Okay, so because the clean room notebook is just a task inside workflow, so we can chain multiple tasks together in a workflow for more complicated pipelines. So you can orchestrate whatever pipeline you want there. And you can also view results on the fly as it's being executed as well. So let's skip a bit over to see the full results of the run. So you can see, so after the run is complete, you can view the results, and you can see the charts, graphs that are added into Notebook. And then there's also the output table that's also created as well. So when we create an output table, it gets created in the isolated environment, isolated metastore, and then it gets delta shared back to the collaborator that ran the Notebook. So in this case, let's go take a look and inspect the output table real quick. So let's see here. All right, let's go to our metastore. So it's delta shared, and then you see the output table here. Cool. All right, and I think that's all here. So that's for first demo. And so what are some of the takeaways? So we are able to create isolated environment and perform joint analysis without direct sharing of data with each other. So we can perform identity resolution through accelerators, and we were able to download, like, let's say, the notebook from the marketplace, and that can be a pre-processing step before adding the table to the clean room. And there's cross-cloud support, whether it's AWS, Azure, or GCP. The collaborators can be different clouds. The clean room can also be in a different cloud as well. And then cross-platform support. So we can use Federation to bring in Snowflake tables, Redshift tables, any tables from anywhere that's outside of Databricks. So we're not a closed ecosystem here. And then we also have direct integration with Unity Catalog for inputs and outputs. So anything that's managed by Unity Catalog and supported by Delta sharing, we can add into the clean room. And at the same time, to get results back out, we also use Delta sharing from the clean room's metastore back to the collaborator's metastore. So now let's go over to the second demo. So because of the flexibility of Databricks Clean Rooms, right? You're running a notebook inside. You can also incorporate ML models into the mix. So there are two main use cases here. So the first, organizations may want to share their ML model without sharing weights or any of the internals of the ML model, and potentially not log any of the inputs that it is inferencing on. And we can add, again, we can add any Delta shareable access into the clean room, which includes ML models as well. And then you can perform inferencing within the clean room. So one party shares the ML model, the other party shares input data to be inferenced on. So then neither party is able to access each other's data sets. And then the second is, let's say you want to train an ML model inside a clean room over data you do not have access to. You do not want to be able to access other organizations' data, and the other organization, you don't want them to access your ML training code or methods. And so this is going to be the main focus of the demo. All right, so in this demo, we're going to once again create a clean room, and we're going to try to fine-tune an LLM model and then Delta share the resulting output model back. So same procedure, both collaborators in AWS, create a clean room in Azure, copying over the share identifier. So pretty straightforward here. OK, so the first party is going to provide the LLM model that we're going to use. In this case, we're going to use OpenAI through their API, but you can also Delta share other models into the clean room as well. And so it's here. OK, so the code would contain also the fine-tuning logic and some data set to fine-tune. So we have like two volumes here. We have the LLM code, which is the private library, and then the training data sets as well. So both are volumes. So once again, we're showing the power of Delta sharing and clean rooms. You can share unstructured data into the clean rooms as well. So, all right, so we are then going to add notebook. So the notebook is just going to we'll be calling the private library, install the Python wheel, and then here's where it uses those two training data sets one from the retailer, one from the supplier side. Those are 2 collaborators we're using for a demo. And in this case, we're going to create like an LLM model that's a clean room expert. So the first data set involved just like the clean room documentation. And then the second data set, right, like shared by the other can be like more private. So it can be like, let's say, I pass in like a design doc of the clean room. So it's like kind of like private information you don't want to share with the other collaborator. All right, and so what else can Notebook do? So here, okay, so the Notebook, after we train the LLM model and fine-tune it, we're going to ask questions. So yeah, inferencing, basic inferencing. What are clean rooms? How are clean rooms secure? And then we're going to also output the model at the very end. So again, when we output the model, it will be delta shared back to the collaborator. Okay, so now we've finished setting up on one end. Let's move on to the other side, the supplier side. Okay, and we're going to see it here, fine-tune LLM. And we're going to add our own data set to fine-tune. So again, it's a volume. All right. And then we should be able to run the notebook now. So as a reminder, only the other collaborator can run the notebook. Okay, everything looks good. There are no parameters to pass in. We can start running. Okay, and let's take a look at the job. Everything looks good. Okay, so I also want to kind of show what is inside the private library, what is inside the Python wheel that we pass in through the volume. So let's go back to on the retailer side and just take a look. So it's just something basic here. We're using OpenAI integration with MLflow. We have like generic interfaces for the library, right? Infer, fine-tune, persist, right? And then yeah, you can input anything you want here. So in this case, I'm just using OpenAI as an example. Okay. All right, and so after we're done here, let's go back to the other side. And let's just fast forward here to see how it looked like after the notebook has finished running. Okay, so after notebook has finished running, let's scroll down. So you can see here, the training is complete, the fine-tuning is complete. It's able to answer our questions. A clean room is what you expect it is. How are clean rooms secure? And then we're going to output the model. So now we have the output model. Let's actually take a look at the shared output model. So this is MLflow OpenAI model. We can go in here. We can do what we normally do with ML models, which is just to serve it. So let's directly serve the endpoint. So create endpoint name, pass in some environment variables. In this case, we're using OpenAI. We'll pass in an API key through secrets. And once everything's done, we can run. Okay, and while the endpoint is being created, let's fast forward a little bit. And when it's complete, we can query the endpoint. And then we pass in the input, what are clean rooms? Send a request. Okay, and we have the results. So yeah, we can really do a lot of things with clean rooms here. And the ML model we can share back. Cool. So some takeaways. So we're able to demonstrate ML training, in this case fine-tuning, in an isolated environment over unstructured data in shared volumes. And it does not require direct access to other organizations' training data. So that means everyone is blind as to what the training data is, both sides. And again, direct integration with Unity Catalog for inputs and outputs. In this case, the output is the ML model, and you're able to use the ML model on your end. Yeah. And now I'm going to give it back to Tao to give closing remarks.
Yeah. Maybe you can stay here. Okay. Thanks, William. I hope you enjoyed the demo from William. It's really advanced tasks that William just showed, especially in the model training part of it. So actually, like we have some time, I wanted to see a show of hands. How many of you are using data sharing today? Okay, good. How many of you are considering a clean room use cases for your organization? Okay, good. Any of you in the advertisement and media industry? Okay, some. Finance industry? Not so many. Health and life science. Okay, more. Any regulated industries? Okay, some. Good. That's great information. So yeah, so we have showed you a lot of capabilities in Databricks Clean Rooms. If you have been evaluating other options, you might have seen the differences. And our guiding principle is to build the powerful platform ground up first because of the breadth of the use cases across industries. And we chose to not build for a specific industry to start with, so that once we have the foundation, we can have a faster velocity to ship more specific solutions. So yeah, these are some of the things we have on our roadmap, besides what you have already seen. Low code and no code UI is what we heard from many organizations if they have business users they wanted to serve. Because notebook is very powerful, but it requires you to be at a certain technical level. And then the other asks we have heard is that organizations want to see more industry-specific integrations out of the box. For example, in identity resolution, or in ads activation, or have more out-of-the-box support for differential privacies. Although today you can use differential privacies in clean rooms using private libraries, but we probably want to make that more out of the box, seamless for our users. So I actually put up a pool. If you can scan and you can share what are the other features you might want to see from Databricks Clean Rooms. Yeah, feel free to start to take picture. You can send this maybe within today before you head out. Cool. And our private preview is available today, and the public preview is coming probably in a couple of weeks. So please remember to sign up for the preview. When you are ready, we probably are ready for the public preview. And no matter which cloud you are on, you can join the private preview, although the secure compute will happen on AWS and Azure first. And with that, it's just time for Q&A. Any questions we can answer? Thank you so much.